Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be reviewing the Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road Premium. This one has some pretty cool features that I think all of you will really like. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with this truck. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 23 on the highway. Power outputs are 278 horsepower and then 317 pound-feet of torque, so as much horsepower as the previous gen Tacoma, but more torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So taking a look at the hood, you can see it's raised there on either side with the Tacoma. And then we've got the new style of headlights here with the Tacoma. Pretty neat looking. And then the grille is completely blacked out. You got the blacked out Toyota badge with this as well. Kind of hard to see with the white paint. The camera can't really focus on it. Fog lights down below. And then with the TRD Off-Road, if you get the non-hybrid like this is, you don't get the big air dam. You can obviously remove that on the hybrid version, but pretty cool setup. And I'm kind of squished in here, so it's hard to see like a full front end angle. But anyways, popping over here to the tire and wheel setup, you guys can see we've got these nice all-terrain tires with the TRD wheels, silver ring and all of that. Looks pretty sharp overall. Now, we also have Bilstein shocks, independent front suspension with this new Tacoma. And slightly bigger wheels, 17-inch wheels nowadays. You guys can see here with the fender flares pretty chunky. And then we've got the Predator side steps with this one as well. This one also has the roof rack, which the nice thing about this roof rack, you can notice that the front end, how it's kind of angled up, that helps out with mitigating wind noise. I actually really like Toyota's new roof rack designs. They've done a good job with that. And then you can see TRD Off-Road here on the side. And then we've got the multi-link setup in the back with another Bilstein shock. So here's our full side profile, and it actually looks pretty cool with the roof rack. I could actually see some kayaks and stuff up top. Now this leads us to the key fob where we have our lock and unlock function. We also have the drop down for the tailgate with the Toyota logo. Pretty standard setup, which will hold that down and that'll pop it. There we go. It's like, why is it not happening? Anyways, plenty of storage here in the bed, and flip hands with the camera so you guys can see inside here. You can see little ports and everything up top with that. We also have an outlet here on the side as well. LED lights in the bed, so that's nice. And this one looks like has, I'll double check the window sticker, it looks like it has the liner though. That makes it so it grips better. But anyways, with the tailgate, it's, come on, it's automated. Maybe it's cold outside, maybe that's what it is. You guys can see with the taillights here, and then you got little jack points there in the back with the TRD Off-Road, but it's the rest of the rear. Now popping inside, this is why you go premium. So you still get the same door panel, interestingly enough, but you get nicer seats. So you can see here with the fancy trim all down the center. And then if you get non-hybrid, you do get some storage underneath the seat. It's got a little box that's kind of in the way. Now you notice that, yeah, the space back here is not great. Typical mid-size pickup truck. You do have some charging ports down below though. Headroom is good, so I kind of see like mid-size for a family with small kids. Now this leads us up front where we actually do get some soft touch here. See all the window controls, mirror adjustments, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Payload capacity here, 1,200 pounds. And then here's the front seat. Again, nice trim all down the center with the premium. All of our adjustments here on the side. Steering wheel's manually adjustable. And then you can see with the auxiliary switches there, stability control, tailgate drop down and raise function as well. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see that it's perforated on either side, and you got nice trim here at the bottom and also at the top as well. Bunch of practical controls here with this. So we've got our adaptive cruise control with our lane centering, volume and voice command controls as well. We've got our regular old stocks here on the back. New digital gauge cluster here in the center, which we can use to change the information that's displayed, which I think is pretty cool. It's like whatever you want to see, you can see. Now this one does have the 360 camera system being the loaded up Tacoma, which is really nice for both on-road and off-road use. And then as for the infotainment system, quick to respond. So that's great. And this is the bigger screen, so you got huge camera view, huge view with everything. And I guess this is great for the folks that kind of struggle to see things a little bit, because it's like huge buttons for everything. Down below, we've got our dual zone climate controls, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel as well. You got nice physical buttons for all of it. Next to that, there's some storage above the glove box Tacoma right there. You can see the glove box itself. Let's move that tag out of the way. Anywho, you guys can see here wireless phone charging pad. We got the TRD shifter. There you got this like grab handle here with some little charging ports. Anyways, parking brake with our auto hold. Traditional 2-speed 2-wheel drive transfer case. We have our drive mode select, multi-terrain select. We also have our tow haul mode, and we've got our crawl control all built into this. So just press whatever one that you want to select. Something to note, you do have to be in at least 4-wheel high for a multi-terrain select. Got your trailer backup assist. That's for the 360 camera, rear locking differential. And then this one has the stabilizer bar disconnect, which is a really nice feature. It improves articulation on the front end by a very noticeable amount off-road, and so I think it's definitely worth getting if you're going to get a TRD off-road, and if you're actually going to take it off-road. It's not like 100% necessary, but especially on the more difficult trails, it's worth it. Got some cup holders there, and then you guys can see with the storage. Nice trim here on the top, and then we do have a camera, rear view mirror, power sliding rear window, and this thing's fancy. And then we do have a sunroof as well. So here's a quick look at the MSRP here. You guys can see the premium package is a pretty big upcharge. Stabilizer bar disconnects $12.30. You can add that on a non-premium, by the way, so that would bring down the price quite a bit. So you could be like in that mid $40,000 range. Still have the cool black badges and everything. Anyways, this one's $57,467, and let's see how it performs. Well, let us get out of this tight parking space. Set off here on this premium. It's interesting, the Tacoma's pricing scheme. So I like to bring up the previous gen because, again, a lot of people are going to be driving previous gen Tacomas that are thinking about upgrading to this new one. And what I'll say is this is more expensive than any previous gen Tacoma, because the TRD Pro previous gen, it's about $52,000 pickup truck. So this at 57 grand is quite a bit more expensive, but it also has more features. I mean, for example, you got cooled seats. That's an added feature you didn't have before. You could get a 360 camera system, but like there's a lot of, I mean, camera rear view mirror, there's a lot of tech that's been added to this that increases the price quite a bit. I've looked at, like, when you compare actual features to features, and the new gen Tacoma, when you have the exact same truck when it comes to equipment, comes in at about like $3,000, $4,000 more expensive than the old one. It's still a hefty price increase, but it's not as crazy as it, you know, and when you look at just the stuff that you see on the lots. But this off-road premium, right? This is kind of typically the Toyota sweet spot, right? That's what most people want, is they want the off-road so they have the extra capability, and they want the premium because they want a few luxury features. I mean, you look at, again, previous gen, that's what everyone was buying with Tacomas and 4Runners, off-road premiums. So the luxury features are definitely nice, but what I will say is with this new gen, the new off-road premium is almost like the previous gen off-road, with just a few options added. The new off-road premium is like way nicer than the previous gen off-road premium, and the new off-road is kind of like the previous off-road premium. You take a new off-road, you add a few features, and you pretty much have an off-road premium in a lot of ways. Just minus the fancy seats. Now this new engine's not great with passing power on the highway. We're obviously not doing a highway test today, but I've experienced this powertrain quite extensively. but it is a lot better than the old powertrain. Like, it actually has some level of passing power as the old one, especially with the 6-speed gear hunts a lot. And this has a lot of low-end torque. It's, in terms of performance, it's much better than the previous powertrain. It is a huge difference. Fuel economy, it's not really that much of a difference. So you're basically getting better performance. That's the way that I look at this new powertrain, is better performance. Now, when it comes to how the rest of the truck drives, the new Tacoma is more car-like than the old Tacoma. The old Tacoma kind of has the kind of more floaty truck-like suspension. Right now it's sharp with the handling. This new one is more sharp with the handling, less floaty with the suspension, so tighter, pretty much tighter everything. So you kind of got that. Some of you might like that, some of you might not. Steering sharper, like everything's just kind of more dialed in with this new Tacoma in terms of the handling. Like, you can tell they really focused on trying to make this like more friendly with on-road driving, and it'll also be better with off-road driving as well. So yeah, I think the new Tacoma, objectively, it drives better in most ways compared to the old Tacoma. And then off-road, it is better. So I've driven both generations off-road now, and I've experienced just Toyota's new off-road tech compared it to the previous gen off-road tech. And what I'll say is, in the new Tacoma and I haven't driven the new 4Runner yet, but I'm guessing this is gonna be a similar situation. Guessing. I will test that out when the time comes. But at least in the Tacoma, it feels like the new multi-terrain select, crawl control, all of that has a much bigger effect on this than the new Land Cruiser, for example. I'm still trying to figure out exactly why that is, but what I've noticed is with these new systems like the stabilizer bar disconnect and the new multi-terrain select, this thing is more capable than a previous gen TRD Pro, which is crazy because, again, this is just a TRD off-road, but also it's more expensive than a Pro, so it's like you hope it's more capable. But yeah, when you take it up, you know, crawling obstacles and all that kind of stuff, the new systems are just so incredibly capable. Like the new programming and everything is just out of this world. So that is a big benefit with this new Tacoma. For those of you that off-road, it is objectively better, and it's easier to fit bigger tires on this new Tacoma as well. There's more space in the wheel well. Again, my Land Cruiser situation's a great example of this, because my 200 series, we've got, so I have aftermarket wheels on both cars that have the same, they're both plus 25 offset, and this is really getting into the weeds, but this just shows Toyota's new kind of like setup. So my old Land Cruiser with a plus 25 offset, I can barely squeeze 32s. Like, they're a little bit bigger than a 32, but so 275 by 70 by 17. And I'm still kind of like, I have a little air dam that I'm removing because I'm kind of rubbing up against that a little bit when I do full crank. Now, my new Land Cruiser still have a plus 25 offset, so same offset, so same outwardly swing, and I have 33s on that that are, so I did pizza cutters, but they're 255 by 80 by 17, so they're a true 33 and no rubbing whatsoever. So Toyota's just really focused on making it so it's possible to fit bigger tires on the new rigs too. So that's nice for those of you that want bigger tires. So let me guys think about the new Tacoma. Definitely up there with the pricing, that's for sure, but it also has a lot more features. So I would say just get a more baseline new Tacoma if you want something that's similar feature wise to the old Tacoma and you don't want the crazy price of the new. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts.